The African Ambassadors Economic Forum 2026.
What is it that makes someone like you decide that no matter what, wherever you are, you're not going to have a chip on your shoulder that says, I am the president? And what does that mean for you in terms of being able to relate with people here and people in your country?
I came from a very humble background in the sense that my parents were not rich people. You know, there are times when we had very little to eat at home, but we had a very dedicated mother and dedicated father who made a commitment right from the start, and that is to take care of their children. So whatever they provided for us, we were very much satisfied with it. So I grew up understanding that it's not the material thing that matters most. It's the love in the family. Caring for mothers and father, caring for their children and teaching them certain spiritual values about life. And so we grew up with that understanding that what matters most is to love, to respect, to care for, and to help in any which way possible to improve the living conditions of your surrounding. So I grew up with those fundamental principles. It matters most not to try to own a lot of stuff in life, material things, but to make sure that you can always give a helping hand to your brother or to your neighbor who's suffering, who's struggling. Help him as much as you can so that both of you can grow and be prosperous in life.
I remember so many years ago when I used to live in the United Kingdom. I went for an event, and there right in front of me was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Mr. Tony Blair at that time. And I walked straight to him, I shook his hand, and I said, oh, Sherry is around. And I went to his wife, and I shook her hand. And I said, I'd like to be able to speak with you at some point because my TV station would like to have an interview. And she said, Claire, come. And the lady came around and gave me a number, and we were able to arrange something. You know that in Nigeria, that would be almost impossible to talk to the First Lady of Nigeria in that way. So how does it affect the relationship between the people of a nation and the way their leaders carry themselves, not like His Excellency who's here? How does it affect the relationship between the people and the government?
Okay, I want to say this. Leadership is about service. There's a place, I think that was in Namibia. I was speaking in a conference and I said something. I had a lot of people from government in the room. And I said something. I said, there is no profession called politician at all. No. Politics is meant to be about service. Now you see a lot of people in Africa, you ask them, I'm a politician. Somebody starts as a councillor. From councillor, it becomes a local government chairman, governor, no, deputy first, deputy to governor, after governor, minister again, from minister, senator, house of rep, the same person. You have a political career for 60 to 70 years. That is evil. It's evil. That's why Africa is the way it is. I don't know if some of you have seen some video online where you see some people that are practically imbecile in leadership. How are they going to rule their people and all? Politics is about service. It's about serving the people. So that clearly shows you that anybody that is actually in politics, after you are done serving, go back to your profession. Politics is not a career. It's not. Being a politician is not a career. After you are done, go back and become a farmer. Who are you? My name is Barrister Ken. I am serving as the governor of Eritrea, if there's anything like that. After you are done, go back and become a lawyer. Yeah. But you don't see people perpetuate themselves. Ask them, I'm a politician. You are not meant to be a politician for a lifetime. You are meant to serve the people with that office. And when you are done, you live for posterity, clean up, and let the people celebrate you. So you see, the problem is this, is that people get into leadership, they are far away from the people. Because why? They just ostracize themselves. They are not in touch with reality. A lot of people that are leaders are not in touch with reality. And that's why they don't feel the pain and the pulse of the people. I travel, go to UK, go to different countries and all. Of course, go to St. Martin. I've not been there and we are going there. Go to St. Martin. You see leadership close to the people. They are friendly, they are nice. What are you running away from? That's why most times you ask some people that are in leadership in Africa that, well, you tell them about what's happening in a particular locality. They are not aware. And in case any leader like that is in Africa, ladies and gentlemen, let's join our hands together and vote out the person from power. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just add to the question, and in terms of a response to the question, what we need to also bear in mind is that many of the African leaders that were in government at a given moment, and some of them are still, even though they're 70, 18 years or 80 years old, they were imposed by the colonial masters. Okay? And they were not there because they cared or they loved their people. They were there because they served well the colonial masters. Okay? So if you want some revolutionary changes in Africa, and we want to see a new generation of leadership, caring, loving for the people, and making sure that the exploitation of the wealth of the people of Africa is no longer taking place, we have to make the fundamental change, and like you just said, firmly get rid of those puppets supported by the French, the Dutch, or the Spanish colonial masters who have always imposed their views on the leadership of Africa. And it's a sad situation, but like I said, the new revolutionary leaders today are making a fundamental difference. And I'm proud to see that changes are on its way, and that tomorrow we can look forward to a new Africa with new leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me take you to the next level and ask you, the things that the people of any nation see their president do will influence the way they also do their own things. If they find that the leader of their country lives an extravagant life, acquires wealth by every greedy means, it means that they too will aspire to that, because that's supposed to be for them the way to do things, because they see their leader just like you see your father. If your father is a thief, you're likely to steal. If your father is a smoker, you're likely to like smoking. If he drinks a lot, he runs in the family. So if they see a simple president who likes to do things the right way and who is able to relate with the people, I was just looking at St. Martin. I've never been there, but what I saw online is a beautiful, beautiful island. And I know that in some parts of Africa, keeping an island like that would have been almost impossible, to keep it serene and as beautiful as it is. What is it that the leadership and the government of St. Martin, what does it do to make it such that the island remain as beautiful as it is, as it's been over the years? What are the things that make it possible for you to make that happen?
Leadership is first and foremost about caring and serving your people. And once there's that understanding, and the people can sense in the way you carry yourself, the way you handle situations, they would understand early that it's not about enriching yourself, but it's most primarily about making sure that the living conditions of the people are significantly improved. And that's what makes you an exceptional leader, at least a leader that cares and shows concern for your people. So when we got in office, and I'm here with my first vice president, we look at housing, we look at education, we look at the social condition of our people, we look at sport infrastructure, because there was a point in time when our country has been severely devastated by the passing of a hurricane at the time called Irma, which devastated the island. So when we get in office, we tell ourselves we have to not see how we can work with certain investors and work deals and see how we can enrich ourselves, but to make sure that we set the right policies in place that would again impact the daily lives of our people in terms of like I said, the housing program that is now becoming a reality. We are looking at ways how we can, through our educational policies, set the standard where the level of success rate could increase significantly. Because to build a country, you must have the brain power. Otherwise, the European forces would impose on you a pattern or model of development that would not necessarily be in the interest of your people, but rather in their interest. Because they could send you any amount of bright minds that you know the country will require. But what matters most to us, St. Martin, is to make sure that within the next 5 or 10 years from now, we have what I will term the homegrown thinkers. In other words, the educated people from the land who at a given moment went abroad to study, but choose to come back to their native country and make that valuable contribution, set the stage for growth, but growth in the interest of the people. That we live a situation where we sense that we were spectators of the economic growth or the economic development of our country, and we choose to put an end to that. If our economy is to grow, it must grow with the people, first and foremost, the people of the land. That's a policy that we stand to, because that's the only way we can look to a victory or triumphant situation where our people is in a position where they too can be part of the wealth, can enjoy the lifestyle that we try to create in their best interest. That is key in terms of development, in terms of good governance, in the interest of the people. Respect your people, love your people, and do all your efforts and your public policies that you will set must first and foremost serve your people, and not for an investment that will just take away the wealth of the country. They live like kings and queens in your land, and you are just there struggling day to day to survive. That is unacceptable on our watch.
Thank you very much, sir. So, Dr. Odims, help me now. You've traveled around Africa quite a bit, and you understand the way things work. So, just recently, for the sake of those who may not know a lot about Nigeria, Lagos State is a metropolitan city, and states, some people describe it as the 4th largest economy on the continent of Africa. And there was an election for local government chairman recently. And one of the things we've been discussing on News Central was the fact that the election was so badly run that the number of people that came out in some of the local government was abysmal. In a small ward where there's about 300-400 people in a small ward, 300-400, there will be just about 10 voters that came out to vote. And because it's election and it's democracy, if it is only 10 people that came to vote, whoever wins on the basis that 7 out of 10 voted for him in a place where there is 300 people. So you can see how it works. Now, the question I would want to ask you then is, let's take this to that point where we're asking ourselves, how do we begin to influence our young people to aspire for elective office and to understand that no matter how many degrees they have, no matter how great a job they have, the politics and democracy of their nation will influence how far they can go? How do we begin to influence them to get that, or motivate them to go in and aspire for office and become leaders that run the country rather than leave it to the people we have in office now?
Okay, for us, for our organization, we'll actually be paying a lot of attention on that. The GIA organization, we pay a lot of attention because the truth is this: no matter what you do, what you want to do, whether you're in the private sector or you are in the spiritual sector, all kinds of sector, or just one person, one Taliban, one terrorist, government terrorist can wake up and push one policy, sign one policy into bill, and that is it. Everything crumbles down immediately. So it's very important. You know, one of the problems in Africa especially is that most of the people in Africa and the private sector don't get involved in government. Many of them see it as government is corrupt. Let them do their thing. Let them know we can't continue like that. We tell them that, you know what, we can make a difference. Get involved in politics. Because for me, how I see these things, how I judge people whenever elections are coming up and all, a lot of people always, especially the young people, they always ask me, Dr. Utchay, what do you think about this election? Who do you think we should vote for? And I usually tell them something. I say, check their track record. Check. Oh, check. What has a person been doing for the past 20 years? What has he or she done? Now, number one, that person for the past 20 years, he or she has not started any business. He doesn't own any business. He has not grown wealth. How do you expect that that person is going to help you? He doesn't have anything he's accountable for. Do you know the funniest thing? Many leaders in Africa currently right now, if you give them, okay, even after stealing $1 billion and all, if you tell them to invest in a business, they cannot. Their brain cannot even assimilate what to invest in. How can somebody steal money, take it out of the country? You are paying interest on the money that you stole for the people to keep it on your behalf. It's not wonderful. And at the end of the day, you might not die. All those money will disappear. The thing is that the private sector needs to take over. We need to come into governance. Most of us that are CEOs, running businesses, we need to. It's very, very important. If the private sector can come into governance, we are going to have a better government. Because if you can grow wealth, even if it's to pay 10 people, 15 people, that means you'll be able to make some impact, whether in your ward, local government, or whatever. So the young people and people in Africa should get involved. Let the people in the private sector get. You don't need to be afraid. I was speaking in one church and I told them something. I said, a lot of people within the church, everybody, Africa is religious. Everybody goes to church. That's the truth. Either church or you go to mosque and all. But we have more in churches. I said, it has been discovered that mostly in every church, almost all the church you are looking at, whenever anybody comes into church and all, the person, they either turn the person to an usher, choir member, praise and worship leader, or convert him to a pastor. We should have a department for leadership. Why am I saying this? Africans listen to their pastors. Yeah, am I right? Am I saying the truth? We listen. The African respect spiritual a lot. Pastors, religious leaders have a lot of role to play. For us to change the status quo, we need a lot of influence of religion, but now in the positive side. The spiritual leaders need to, if you're a pastor here, you better go and organize and open up a department of leadership where you'll be training your people on how. That's the only way we can change the trajectory. If we are waiting for angel to fall from heaven to change it, nothing. We will remain like this, keep going around the circle. We need to rise up. And that rising up needs to be an intentional act. Because why? Why is it possible? It's time for Africa. Somebody was asking me, said, how do you know that this thing can change? I said, for the very first time ever in the whole wide world, many years ago, I remember, whenever you play a song of Raskimono, people don't want to know. There's a man called Raskimono. You play a song of Two-Face, nobody wants to know anything about it. But guess what? Right now, African song is leading. Am I right? Around the whole world. In terms of gospel, we are leading. In terms of secular, we are leading. Medical health, Africans are doing exceptionally well. In the area of tech, we are doing exceptionally. These are signs to show that it's time for Africa. Let's rise up. We can do it. We can change. Most of you that are here now are meant to be presidents in your country, but right now you're working for somebody. Catch a vision. The provision will come. Provision means what is needed to advance the vision. It will come. It's time for Africa, and you, all of us can make the difference. Let's get involved in politics and change the trajectory.
The African Ambassadors Economic Forum 2026.